Tiger Woods has been the GOAT of golf for God knows how long. He's almost freaking 50 years old, and yet he's not showing any signs of slowing down. In today's video, we're going to talk about when and where Tiger Woods will play this year, and we'll also talk about how his comeback is something we've never seen before. So make sure to stay until the very end to learn all about it. First up, when and where will he play? So here's the thing, the 47-year-old unfortunately won't be playing a ton. He'll be playing a few select events and 4 majors. But the more important question that comes to mind is, where will they be? So the guy is, of course, more determined than ever to play in 2023. But the thing is, he's going to want to be selective as to where and when he makes an appearance. He's still, without any doubt, the biggest draw in the world of golf. And folks, don't think that all of this is going to change because he'll be playing less. In fact, he might even be more talked about and more hyped up this time around. Because think about it, his appearances will be few, and they'll be more geared towards the bigger events. That just means that when he does show up, it'll be an even bigger deal. And no, don't just take our word for it. When talking about what his 2023 schedule may look like, here's what Tiger Woods said. The goal is to play just the major championships. That's it. I mean, physically, that's all I can do. I told you at the beginning of last year, I don't have much left in my right leg, so gear up for the biggest event. But everything isn't going to be super perfect, to be honest, because injuries such as plantar fasciitis, because of which he couldn't play the Hero World Challenge, could also show up again. That kind of would end up ruining his whole thing. But we shouldn't worry too much, because he seems serious about playing at least the bigger tournaments. Next up, will Tiger Woods play in all the majors? Now that's what's really been on everyone's mind, isn't it? Because think about it, he did shock everyone by making the cut at the Masters. And let's not forget that Augusta National will again be a target for him. And of course, the cherry on top is the fact that he knows the place like the back of his hand. At the same time, he probably feels that he can compete there, no matter what's been holding him back. But we all know it's not going to be easy, because he did play in the PGA Championship until the point where he was forced to pull out. He also ended up skipping the US Open because he had to rest for the Open. And then what happened? He missed the cut. This seemed like his final appearance at St. Andrews. And folks, it's really unlikely that something's going to stop him from showing up in Augusta, because let's not forget that he showed up just 14 months after his crazy car accident last year. So what's to stop him from showing up this time around? And considering his 2006 victory at Hoylake, we have to assume he's going to return to the Royal Liverpool for the Open as well. If you take our opinion, we feel that he's going to be skipping the PGA Championship if he feels that it's getting too much. Up next, when are the majors? So we talked about what majors he may or may not play, but that's all useless information now if you don't even know when the majors will be. So let's talk about that. This way, you can all mark your calendars to see Woods play. And hey, if he skips any of these, you still get to see some awesome golf, right? So the Masters Augusta National will be held between April 6th and 9th. PGA Championship Oak Hill will be held between May 18th and 21st. Now for the summer events, US Open, LA Country Club will be in the middle of June, more specifically between June 15th and 18th. The last major to be held in 2023 will be the Open Championship, Royal Liverpool, and that'll be held between July 20th and 23rd. Now here's the thing, folks. Majors aren't the only things happening in golf this year. There will still be loads of other tournaments too. So let's talk about that. But before that, let's talk about whether he can play or not. Moving on, how fit is he? At the Hero, Tiger Woods stated that he loves competing and that he loves the sport. He also mentioned that he's been playing this all his life. He acknowledged the fact that mentally he's willing to do a lot of things, but his body isn't allowing him to do all that. He said that when he was at home, he was shooting 4, 5, 6, and 7 like it was nothing. However, at that time, he was in a cart. But when he can't do that, and he needs to walk, all those good shots go away. So what he now needs to do is to get to a point where he's well enough to walk around and play like he used to. But that's not going to be easy now, is it? Because at the same time, he still wants to play. So he's not giving himself the proper time he needs to heal. But then you'd argue that if he stays away for too long, he'll lose his edge. So all in all, Woods is in a bad situation, and he just needs to be smart about the whole thing. Now for the non-majors. Yes, folks, as we promised, we're going to now talk about the non-majors that he could play. And the word you should focus on is could. We're not saying he's 110% going to play these. No. All we're saying is these are the most likely tournaments he'll play. Right, so would you be excited if we told you that you could start seeing him maybe a little earlier than you expected? We mean this month, literally, because he could be at the Farmers Insurance Open, Torrey Pines, which will be held between January 25th and 28th. We know that he's going to struggle, of course, he will. But maybe he could start the year in a place where he's comfortable, a place where he's won 8 freaking times before. So we might just end up seeing him there. We could also see him at the Genesis Invitational Riviera, which will be held between the 16th and 19th of February. Well, okay, we downplayed that. You got us. Congratulations. He's going to be there, of course, because he's the tournament host, and his foundation is also going to be the main charity that week. But the question is, will he be bringing his clubs? Because his hosting duties could end up taking over the entire thing, and he'd also have to ensure that he can practice. Then we have the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Bay Hill, which will be held between March 1st and 5th. If he's healthy, he may want to tune up right here. Following up, there's more. So we also have the Players Championship, TPC Sawgrass, which will be held between March 9th and 12th. To be clear though, he's only played the Players twice in the past 7 years. But then again, it's the pinnacle of the PGA Tour season, and considering all the drama with LIV Golf, he's going to want to show support by entering this one. Then we have the Memorial Muirfield Village, which will be held between June 1st and 4th. This could be the perfect landing spot for Tiger, and he could use it as practice for the US Open. It's just a week after the PGA, so it's probably going to depend on how much he ended up playing there. So this is less based on whether he'll actually want to play or not, and more about how healthy he feels. Because even if this was super important, he wouldn't be able to play if he's not feeling okay. So now the question remains, how much will he play? Well, ideally, he could play once a month for 6 months. He could maybe start with the Genesis in February, Players in March, and then play all the majors. The Farmers Insurance Open could be the perfect place for him to start, given that he's fit enough, because not only is it at the start of the year, but it's also far enough before the Masters. So if he doesn't feel well afterward, he'll have the time to recover. He did get through the 4 rounds of Masters last year, so this time around he could get even more done, considering it's been longer. Finishing up, his comeback was awesome. Let's be real here. It's easy to look at Tiger's career in 2022 and consider it a somewhat lost year. It ended pretty much like how it ended in 2021. Woods wasn't healthy enough. We had to see quite a lot of disappointments. He didn't go to any of the PGA events other than the majors. He even missed the US Open. And then at St. Andrews, he didn't even make the freaking cut. It's easy to look back at things now and feel like he didn't do so well. And it won't even be further from the truth. He didn't do so well. But think about how it was back then. Going to the Masters felt like a long shot to begin with. No one thought he'd be able to play in the tournament. And while we're used to Woods' mysterious disappearances and comeback, let's not forget that this time it was a horrible crash that started the speculation about his career. We mean that crash shattered his foot. Considering where he is now, he achieved a lot. At that point, we were just happy to see him back in the field, that's all. Just a week before the tournament, Woods went on a mission to see if he could even walk Augusta. And of course, as you all remember, we were extremely optimistic about the whole thing. But there's one small problem. We still had to be extremely cautious with our expectations. While he didn't win the tournament, his comeback was not far from impressive. That's a wrap for this video. Are you guys excited to see Tiger play? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press that bell icon for the latest information and news like this. See you in the next one.